Good morning, Bridget. It's a special day today. It is the day when the government is taken to court by four claimants, the Independent School Council and represented by Lord Pannick, claiming that the VAT on education policy violates their human rights. It is the day where four defence lawyers try and defend the actions of a government led by a defence lawyer imposing VAT on all families in private education. It's the day where we remember a lot. We remember the manifesto where Labour did say they were going to bring this in September 25, and we remember how they brought it in January 25. We remember the families who have already had to take their children out of education because they can no longer afford it. Many of those children with special educational needs, some of those children with medical needs that you or I would find difficult to comprehend. There are parents who have remortgaged homes. There are parents who have sold homes. There are parents who have asked family members to help, who have used all of their pensions, their savings. There are parents who have had suicidal thoughts. There are children who have had suicidal thoughts. There are families who feel they have nowhere else to turn. There are families who have been subjected to hate. There are families who have been called every name under the sun. There are families who are ridiculed for their Tarquins and Philomenas. There are families who have been at the receiving end of hate campaigns. There are families who have been persecuted for daring to choose a system that would provide for their child. There are families who have joined together in state and private, who have said this is wrong. This is persecuting children. There are families in the state sector who do not want the children from the private sector in their schools, but they now have them. There are MPs who have learnt the art of cut and paste, who have had letters from their constituents who put them there, and they haven't even bothered to reply. There are MPs who have shown disregard and disdain for real family issues, problems and challenges. There are MPs who have ignored families. There is one Education Secretary, you, who has not had one meeting with the private sector, yet 33 meetings with the unions. There is one Education Secretary who has proudly declared that she is secretary for the 93% and let the 7% go to the wind. There is a Children's Commissioner who has not publicly answered one letter or one comment from the children and parents who have contacted her. There is a Chancellor of the Exchequer and her sister who have openly said the private schools should be abolished, despite claiming this tax is to raise money for state education. There is a Chancellor of the Exchequer who said this money would go directly to state schools, but then admitted it wouldn't. There is a Chancellor of the Exchequer who said this would raise £1.8 billion, but yet can't admit that it won't raise anything. This is a policy that was made on lies and deceit and envy. This was a policy that ruined lives and will ruin lives. This is the policy that has brought down 23 schools with 2 a week closing. This is a policy that has done more damage to the British economy than it could ever hope to raise. And this is a policy that was cooked up by a group of people who felt that they didn't have what they should have had. Now, whatever the outcome in court is, Bridget, whichever way it goes, for the next 3 days, you will hear the stories of the families that you and Rachel and Kia and Angela have directly affected. Families like yours. Think on that. The next time you stand in front of the House of Commons and spit your venom, as you so frequently do, in response to a genuine question as to who's going to look after these children now, think on what you would feel and how you would feel if this was your children.